Hello, folks. Welcome to OuchCouch. This is gonna be episode 9, I think. So, again apologizing for the delay. Well, the delay was after episode 6, but episode 7 and 8 have been recorded like weeks ago, and it's still not uploaded at the time of recording episode 9. Sorry about that. And also, just reminding you to listen to this episode and the other episodes in 1.5 or 1.25 times speed for better listening experience. Anyway, in last episode I was talking about emotional investments. So in that theme, I'd like to continue a little further about emotional portfolios. Just the way we have like stock portfolios, a mix of different kind of stocks with at different level of risk. So there is always something to it's a safe bet, right? So for emotional investment, I think we should try something like that. As I am talking, I forgot the exact philosophy I was trying to put like the spotlight on, but it's somewhat like we oftentimes when something becomes very important for us to like invest our emotions on, and we invest all of it on that, and we forget about the other things that also deserve our emotional attention, or let's just say our empathy and everything. We kind of lose. It's just like betting on a very famous popular big stock, and not betting on other safer options, and I mean not buying other safer options, of course. And in the end, the well performing stock sort of plummets, and it brings us all down, and as we have not made our investments in other places, and we lose big. And so instead of losing big to like something really flashy and big, we should we better play safe. And also, it's not just safe when it comes to emotion, it's also playing just, like, because a lot of people, we think, or we think that there are, or a lot of incidents we don't think that those are important, actually are important. And sometimes we miss opportunities we never thought we would have, by overlooking things like that, like small things like that. Small isn't really small when it comes to opportunities at times. And so I think it's wise if we are mindful to like less important things in moderation, not necessarily always be mindful to less important things that would like put our brain in jeopardy. So let's not do that, but like let's just illustrate that with an example. For example, there you have a crush on a person, so you are always well, I'm not going to say that you are gonna you're acting like a creep, but you are being aware of what that person does, or the, maybe tracking their emotions, maybe tracking their activities, and trying to gauge how they're feeling by their posts and all that. And if you are living in their proximity, maybe you have interactions with them while overlooking possibly another friend, or like another family member who is going through a bad time, maybe job situation, or a breakup, or divorce, or a bad academic uh, episode. Like, we all have our bad buzzes, right? And maybe some other stuff, you need to also take care of. And sometimes you are possibly getting a little too ahead of yourself, and maybe you are getting letting yourself lose a little too much, so you are ignoring your work, your schoolwork, and other responsibilities that you are uh, really can't afford to be like, be loosey goosey at. So in the end, when that person uh, clearly does not reciprocate your feelings, and maybe don't even bother about you, or maybe doesn't even know that you exist, which is sometimes the case, sadly, uh, it actually means nothing to you. All of your investment, all of your all of the time you have spent on that person, and everything, it just has almost zero value or nothing, except for one thing, of course, that you are learning a lesson that this wasn't your calling. So in situations like that, just to avoid things like that, it's better if you, or if all of us, like, make room for other things as well. Like, let's just be more mindful of the places our investments or our involvement are needed. I'm not saying that don't have a crush, because that would be really hypocritical. Because I have one, major one. I'm sorry to talk about it like this. But yes, it's totally fine to have those. But I think it's an advice to myself as well. We should reserve our time and energy, a portion of our time and energy, for that. And that should not be like in like improperly proportionate. It needs to be properly in that. There should be at least like some what I'm trying to say is, everything should be in proportion, that we should not just be involved in or immersed in that one person's thought, but let's just, how do I put it, like a bento box. There should be space for everything else. And not by everything else, man, I mean everything important. So maybe just get your pen and paper or notepad app out. I mean, turn that on and write down what things deserve your attention, what you think you should be giving your time voluntarily, and where you are needed, and what things are your responsibilities that you cannot afford to be clumsy at. And there you have your list, and you can make your own portfolio. And this is an advice to myself. I have been not in a good place emotionally, because I have been chasing a wild goose, which I have no business of chasing, and that's a total, utter emotional failure, and I'm trying to recover from that. So it's an advice to myself. So I'm gonna prioritize in all sectors where my attentions are deserved. And that doesn't mean I'm not gonna chase this wild goose, but I'm not gonna chase this wild goose only. I'm also gonna chase very domesticated geese, and ducks, and cranes, maybe. So I didn't say roosters because I don't want to go there. So I think that's it. It is a rather boring episode, but I'll wrap it up here. So let's just make a portfolio of our investments, the emotional investments, and I think we're gonna be good. So for now, I'm gonna stop recording. Thank you for listening to it, if any of you are listening to it right now. And there is that. Thanks, everyone. Bye.